The exhibition on the first floor of the Novium Museum looks inside and beyond the iconic walls of Chichester. It reveals how the city and district developed historically and culturally over the past 2,000 years. In AD 43, the Emperor Claudius invaded Britain. Evidence for both military stores and equipment at both Chichester and Fishbourne suggests an early invasion presence in the area. The town of Novio Magus Reginorum developed quickly. The Roman town was a centre for commerce, law, industry, and recreation. The Romans are traditionally thought to have withdrawn from the shores of Britain in AD 410. Without trade, many industries failed, and as goods became harder to come by and risk increased, as a result of invasion and attack, people dispersed and the city was abandoned. This left the way open to Saxon incursions and influence, who had been attacking the English coast since AD 200. The first king of the South Saxons was Eel, who arrived in Britain in AD 477. There is very little evidence of early Saxon occupation within the city of Chichester. Most of the evidence for early Saxon occupation comes from further afield in the district. A key site is the Saxon cemetery at Appledown, to the northwest of Chichester. King Alfred later made use of the fortified town during Viking raids along the south coast. In 1066, William the Conqueror led his Norman army to defeat King Harold, who owned lands in Bosham. The majority of Sussex was granted to Roger de Montgomery, a principal councillor of William the Conqueror. He ordered a grand castle to be built in Arundel, alongside a Motte and Bailey castle to be built in both Chichester and Midhurst. Similarly to all other cathedrals across the country, the cathedral at Selsey was moved into the city, centralising the religious powers with the economic. Poverty was a reality for many people in the medieval period. However, the cathedral and international trade brought a great deal of wealth to the area, for some. By 1135, a guild of merchants existed, and royal charters for the city gave them extensive powers over who could buy or sell. As a market centre, Chichester had many different trades and crafts, including blacksmithing, needlemaking, leatherwork, and pottery manufacture. Many of the industries and trading relationships established in the medieval period fed through into Tudor times. By 1485, Tudor England was beginning to recover from the effects of agricultural depression caused by the Black Death. From 1500 onwards, trading links between Chichester Harbour and London increased. Chichester flourished, growing into a market town with established shops as well as individual stalls. A striking feature from the early Tudor period is the city's market cross. It was given to the citizens by Bishop Edward Story in 1501. It was designed as a place where smaller traders could sell their wares in all weathers. Traders who sold under the cover of the cross were free from tolls or other charges. The Georgian period was Chichester's golden age. Agricultural improvements allowed the city's corn and stock markets to prosper. Increased wealth, combined with a need for renovation after the English Civil War, meant a series of new building projects for the city. A fine early example is Pallant House, built in 1712 by Henry Peckham, a wine merchant. A number of other domestic buildings were gradually rebuilt or refronted throughout the 1800s. The Georgian period, perhaps more than any other, had the greatest effect on Chichester. Today, despite its ancient origins, Chichester is described by many as a Georgian city. By the Victorian era, Chichester's industries were growing, becoming numerous and successful. By 1872, Chichester was flourishing with fortnightly beast markets, as well as dedicated sheep and pig markets along East Street and North Street, from the Cross to the Walls. Family-run businesses such as Shipham's thrived, as did wool, tanning, brewing and malting industries. From the mid-1800s onwards, Chichester district became much better connected. The main line railway, linking Chichester with Portsmouth and with London, opened in 1847. In 1896, a tram line between Chichester and Selsey was built. This brought new opportunities to the city. The 20th century saw a great deal of change. Businesses, shops and industries which had once flourished during the Victorian era and into the early 1900s began to decline. The post-war period and into the 1960s saw the demolition of slum housing and the construction of vast new housing estates, including Wick, Parklands and Somerstown. In addition, infrastructure was improved. The railway station was rebuilt and a new bus station was constructed. Chichester's now internationally renowned Festival Theatre was opened in 1962, and in 1967 a distinct new library was built in Tower Street. October 1990 sadly saw the closure of Chichester's livestock market, which had been in decline for some time. Today, Chichester continues to adapt and change to the ever-changing world, and attracts visitors from far and wide to enjoy a range of cultural, heritage and leisure activities.